Trying to explain Pisces season is very difficult. It's not something that you can just explain like linearly. Pisces season is all about feelings and sensitivity, so it's about feeling more so than thinking. Without a doubt, this month, a lot of us are going to learn about unconditional love and surrendering to the unknown. Unconditional love is not fluffy unicorns, roses, and rainbows. Sometimes the lessons that come with unconditional love can be harsh, but anything that may break your heart is ultimately breaking it open. When it comes to surrendering to the unknown, feelings of confusion and fear may come up. But trust and believe that surrendering to the unknown is really in your best interest if you allow it to be. Regardless of what transpires this month can be extremely eye-opening and enlightening. And as we make our way to the end of the zodiac, we're preparing for the new year come Aries season. And with that comes a lot of self-reflection and introspection. Trust and believe, Pisces season is going to be quite interesting. So buckle up. Let's take a deep dive into the ocean that is Pisces season. Everybody, it's your girl Mel of Divine Feminine Works, and as always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. This channel is everything tarot, astrology, and spirituality. So if those are the things that interest you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, so Pisces season. This is my fourth time trying to do this video, and no, it's not because Mercury is retrograde. It's really because to encapsulate and to explain what Pisces season is and what it means is very difficult. Pisces is not something that you can just explain linearly and just use your words. Pisces is all about intuition, psychic abilities, and emotions, very much so. Pisces feels more so than thinks or speaks. And when I was meditating on this, the emotions that I was receiving, the messages came through via emotions. It wasn't even like regular downloads. They were just emotions. And to put it, if I could summarize it very quickly, the emotions I felt were three. The first one was confusion. All right, and I'll get into all of these in a little bit. So the first one was confusion. The second one was a feeling of intimidation and sort of feeling small. Again, I'll explain that in a little bit. And then the last one, thankfully, was like unconditional love. So if I had to summarize Pisces season in three sort of ways, those would be the three ways. But to actually explain it, I'd have to channel my feelings to you. And I don't think I can do that just yet. So let's just get straight into it. To understand where we're going, we have to understand where we've been. So we are just coming out of Aquarius season, right? And if you've watched any of my February monthly videos, Aquarius is all about autonomy. It's about independence. It's about rebellion. And you know, those are sort of the textbook definitions of what Aquarius is as a sign. Those are the archetypal Aquarius characteristics. The way it's sort of playing out right now in the real world is like people are really trying to call back their power, right? Whether it's spiritually, whether it's, mentally, whether it's, you against the government, everyone wants their autonomy. Everyone wants to change things around. Perfect. And so that's where we're coming from. Now, where we're going, it's all about surrender, and it's all about going with the flow. And you may be asking yourself, well, how am I supposed to be autonomous and independent and rebellious if I'm supposed to just go with the flow? Well, that is sort of the paradox of Pisces. Pisces is symbolized by the two fish. One is swimming upstream, one is swimming downstream. So it's almost like a battle of wills, if you will. It's your own personal free will, your own autonomy, and then the will of the divine. And learning how to navigate the two of those simultaneously is really what Pisces is about. On the one hand, you have the will to swim upstream if you choose. But at some point in time, you're going to have to recognize that everything may be flowing downstream, and you may just have to ride the wave and surrender to the direction in which you are already going. And again, that's a very sort of confusing, to go back to my first concept with respect to Pisces season, that is what brings up the confusion. Because a lot of us are awakened, a lot of us are awakening to our spirituality and our divine nature, but we still live on earth, we still live in this 3D matrix where a lot of what we do is based on our own autonomy, our own decision making, our own free will. So we have this soul and this ego that are working in tandem, and learning how and when to use either, again, is the whole point of Pisces season. So I feel that a lot of people are going to sort of feel this confusion. They're actually waking up to their soul, to their divinity. So rather than just thinking about themselves in a very one-dimensional sort of way, like, okay, I can manifest things, I can make things happen, I make decisions, I do what I want to do, they're waking up to the other side of themselves, which is their soul. And your soul is not, your soul and your ego are two completely different things. And sometimes they go in two completely different directions. And Pisces encapsulates all of this. And some of the characteristics of Pisces sort of play into this theme that I'm talking about right now, where it's either swim upstream or go with the flow. So a lot of us are going to be dealing with this sort of dichotomy this season, right? Because when the sun is in any sign, that is when our focus and our consciousness are directed towards the themes that are characteristic of that sign. For instance, and just randomly picking one, when we're in Libra season, it's all about relationships. Our consciousness and our focus is directed towards relationships and how we relate to people on a one-to-one sort of level, right? Now that we're in Pisces season, it is about our soul versus our free will, our humanity versus our divinity. And I shouldn't even say versus, because it's not one or the other. It's both at the same time, working together. That can be a very overwhelming sort of feeling when you wake up to that, when you finally understand what it means to be a divine being having a human experience. And learning to work with the two sides of yourself can be very overwhelming, which is why one of the characteristics of Pisces is the notion of escape. A lot of times people escape what they don't understand. Rather than go through it and understand it, they merely seem to want to avoid it. So they escape via any number of things. It could be alcohol, it could be drugs, it could be sex, it could be food. Any of those things are things that people use to escape this feeling. Because this leads me to my second concept that I mentioned before about feeling small, right? Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. Well, in traditional astrology, Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter is huge. If you ever look at the size of Jupiter compared to the other planets, Jupiter is enormous. And that's what Jupiter represents: enormity, expansion. Jupiter also rules Sagittarius. And so when you think about Sagittarius, it's all about optimism, abundance, being larger than life. That's sort of the happy-go-lucky nature of Jupiter as it relates to Sagittarius. But when you're talking about Pisces, it's almost like if you were to stand in front of Jupiter, if Jupiter, the planet, was right in front of you, the enormity of it would remind you of your smallness. And it would sort of remind you of not even your limitations, but the fact that there's so much more out there than just you. Okay? And one of the words I got was vast. Vast is like, it gives you this emotion of just, again, it evokes this smallness, like you feel small, almost like you're a grain of sand on a beach, right? There's so much that you can't see. There's almost so much that you can't even comprehend it, and it reminds you of your smallness. It's like a tiny guppy swimming in the Pacific Ocean, if you get my drift. It's like, it's the enormity of it that just may, again, make you feel small, make you feel limited, kind of remind you of your place in everything. It's not just you're the king of your castle, or you're the leader of your group, or you're part of a partnership. You are part of not even part of a humanity, because it's Aquarius that reminds us of our humanity. This goes well beyond humanity to the vastness of the galaxy, the vastness of the unknown, right? And we're meant to surrender to that at certain points in time. At certain points in time, swimming upstream is futile. It's not going to get you anywhere. Have you ever tried to walk up a down escalator? Like, my hands are... Have you ever tried to walk up a down escalator? It requires so much effort and energy, and although you can make it up the stairs, it takes you a lot longer, right? And sometimes you just get discouraged and you're like, well, I really, especially if you start at the bottom, sometimes it may discourage you. You may just be like, you know what, I really just can't, let me just not do this, right? That's also sort of the energy of Pisces season. It's this surrendering to the unknown. And I feel like particularly this Pisces season of 2021, we're all really being called to do that. 2020 threw us for a loop. It threw a curveball in a lot of our plans. It showed us that we are really not in control. Spirit really made its presence known in 2020. And now, with this Pisces season, I really feel like our focus and our consciousness is going to be directed towards surrendering to Spirit in a way that may make a lot of us very uncomfortable. Many people are A-type personalities. Many people are very much tapped into their humanity, meaning that you make the decisions. If I decide to pick up this mug is picked up. I decided to do it. I am in control of it. And Spirit is like, actually, you're not really. Hi, I'm here. Hi. And I need you to work with me. I'm not leading you any place that you're not meant to go. And I think that's what may scare a lot of people. If they surrender to the unknown, they don't know where they're going. How do they know that they're being led in the right place? That is where your free will also kicks in, because you have the decision to decide what downstream is. There's a lot of things that you can follow, right? But if you are in accordance with Spirit, with your higher self, you can let go and surrender and go downstream, knowing that you will be okay. Right? It's when you surrender to things that are not of your highest good, you surrender to things that are just malicious or low vibrational or whatever, that's when you sort of have to be afraid of where downstream leads you, right? But tapping into your higher self, tapping into the power of the divine, you can feel free to let go and not be afraid. And that's what Pisces season is really going to teach us, okay? It's a very difficult concept to grasp. Like I said, I can't necessarily explain this linearly. So if this video sounds like it's all over the place, it's probably because it is, because, you know, almost like fish that just swim very quickly and frantically all over the place. That's sort of how the energy feels, like the undercurrent of the energy. That's what it feels like. But it's a very enlightening season. Pisces season can be very enlightening because you are opening yourself up to the unknown. And what you can receive back, I can't even describe. It's no short of amazing. All right, and so the third concept I wanted to get to, which I alluded to before, was unconditional love. Pisces season has a lot of symbolism to it. And the first symbol that I was shown is the symbol for Christianity, the fish, right? It speaks to the age of Pisces, which we have left. It speaks to Christ consciousness, but ultimately it speaks to, it also speaks to abundance, right? Because if you remember the story in the Bible of when Jesus was preaching and he only had like 2 fish and like 5 loaves of bread, or, don't quote me on the number, I'm not a Bible expert, and how he was able to proliferate the fish and the bread. So he fed like 5,000 people and still had leftovers. So fish always means abundance, right? That's another way that's another theme of Pisces that I feel like a lot of us are going to encounter this season, but not necessarily. This is not material abundance. This is spiritual abundance, an abundance of love, of unconditional love. And that's not to say that Pisces season is going to be lovey-dovey, pie in the sky, everyone loves each other. I think some of us are going to learn harsh lessons when it comes to unconditional love. We're going to learn how to love unconditionally, which could also be very uncomfortable. But this also taps into the idea of Christ consciousness, of that unconditional love. And that's not to say you just love anyone, no matter if they hurt you or treat you like shit or whatever. This is learning the higher octave of love. It's learning to remove conditions from love, to see humanity for what it is. And again, that can be very uncomfortable. So I feel like these are the themes that are going to play out over the next month while we're in Pisces season. And if there's one thing I have to leave you with, I would say it's just to be open. Feel whatever you feel and don't escape it. There is a time and a place for everything. There is a time and a place for escape. On a side note, if you think about the modern ruler of Pisces, which is Neptune, Neptune rules the media. It rules movies and things like that. And movies can be a great way to escape. But like the saying goes, everything in moderation. You can't escape the important things. But you also shouldn't let yourself be completely overwhelmed. Take everything with a grain of salt, roll with the punches, and remain open, particularly with your heart. You should really remain open with your heart this season and experience the wonder and the awe and the amazingness. I don't even know if that's a word. The amazingness of the unknown. And I feel like if you do that this season, you are going to set yourself up for a new year of just great things. Despite what the outside may look like, despite what may be going on, there is an abundance of positive and wonderful energy at our fingertips. You just have to choose to tap into it. So I wish you all a wonderful Pisces season because I think it's going to be a good one. I really think that a lot of us are going to learn a lot about ourselves and about others this month, this season. And just in terms of time, Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So Pisces season is like our December. Come March, once Aries season begins, that's when the true new year begins. So this Pisces season may be a time of sort of winding down, a time of reflection, a time of really thinking about and taking stock of your life and of things that have transpired in the past, and now getting ready for a brand new year. So again, happy Pisces season. All right, so now let's get into the tarot and see what messages Spirit has for us. Concentrate, relax, think about these 3 piles. Don't just randomly pick one. Really sit and think about each one and pick whichever calls to you. Whatever you feel drawn to, that is truly the message for you. All right, so if you picked pile number 1, this is your message. We start out with dead end, followed by imagine. And then we have meditation brings answers. All right. So for those of you who picked pile number 1, it screams Pisces energy. It also screams 12th house energy. This dead end with this red sign right here, it's really calling you to stop. Almost like stop in your tracks. I don't care what you're doing, just stop. Because right now you need to sit, be quiet, tap into your higher self, and let your mind wander. And you can't do that if you're just like all over the place or if you're doing 10 million things. So many times I talk to people and people are like, yes, I really need to start meditating. And I'm like, okay, have you made the conscious decision to set aside the time on a regular basis to sit and do nothing? No phone, no TV, no music, no nothing. Have you really set the time to do that? And they're like, well, it's hard. And I'm like, yeah, I know that it's hard, but it's also necessary. There's so much that you can gain from meditation. And this isn't a plug for meditation or anything like that, but I really can't speak highly enough about it because that's where you get all the answers. Literally, like just like this card is telling you, that's where you get all the answers. And you really need to leave your mind behind sometimes. This sort of ties into what I was talking about, escape. While Pisces really does talk about escape via drugs, alcohol, and all of those sort of 3D things, meditation allows you to escape your mind. It helps you to tap into your soul. And we all need that, like on a regular basis. Again, I can't speak highly enough about meditation, but you need to escape your mind sometimes. And for those who picked this pile, I feel like Pisces season, you really need to escape your mind, but you need to do it in a way that's healthy and beneficial to you. I feel like some of you are going to be drawn to wanting to escape. So I feel like some of you have mind overwhelm. Like your mind may be thinking about 10 million things. You may be overwhelmed. You may be inundated with things like, maybe you can't put your phone down. Maybe you are like a slave to the TV. Maybe you are just overstimulated with everything that's going on. Another characteristic of Pisces season is that it's all about emotions, but in an empathic sort of way. So it's not just feeling your own emotions, you're tapped into the emotions of the collective. And so sometimes we take on energy, we take on emotions that are not ours. And if you do that and don't release some of this energy and these emotions, you get like overstimulated. And I feel like some of you may be feeling that right now. That's why it's so important to literally stop what you're doing. Stop. Like maybe even right now. Actually, yes, right now. I want you to stop, pause this video, and meditate. Or just I'm not talking about even sitting with your legs crossed and some binaural beats in the background. I'm talking about literally just shutting everything down and sitting and doing nothing. I want you to do that and then come back to me, all right? All right, now that you're back, how do you feel? You probably feel a little better, right? I thought so. And if you don't, maybe you weren't really doing nothing. Maybe you still were overstimulated. Maybe you were still looking at your phone real quick or talking to someone. I get it, life happens. But seriously, you need to take some time out for you to escape your mind, to escape the 3D, the world, and just tap in to your higher self, to the divine. You get it. I feel like I'm being repetitive. All right, let's get into these 3 tarot cards. We've got the Star. We've got the King of Pentacles. And we have the Moon. This is the essence of Pisces energy. I feel like some of you use work as an escape as well. Some of you, your mind may be running a mile a minute because you're all about your coins. You're all about
What's the next idea I have to implement? What do I need to do to make money? You know, if you ever scroll on Instagram, I don't care what sort of niche you're in or what sort of pages you follow, you are at some point going to be inundated with this entrepreneurial message, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I am an advocate of being an entrepreneur. But it's not just about the hustle, the grinds all the time. A lot of times you need the right mindset to have a healthy relationship to money, a healthy relationship to work. And that mindset requires this. So for those of you who picked pile 1, I feel like work, securing the bag, entrepreneurship, you know, getting ahead, all of that stuff is maybe what is contributing to your mind running a mile a minute. So for some of you, that healing that you may need is inherent in this energy. Surrender. Look at her. It's almost like she fell into the ocean. Remember I was talking about how you were just standing at the horizon and just looking out at the ocean, and how you felt small and you realize the vastness of this universe. You need to surrender to that this month. Seriously. And I feel like once you do, those answers that you're like racking your brain about, trying to figure out when it comes to money or 3D, anything 3D sort of stuff, it's that meditation that's going to bring you the answers. I feel like when you actually take that break to escape your mind, everything that needs to be in your mind is going to suddenly come to you. That's the beauty of this sort of energy. So more so than anything else, if you pick this pile, your message is surrender. Seriously. Like, no, like seriously. Surrender. You'll be amazed at the ideas and just the thoughts that you're going to be able to create and conjure once you actually do that. Trying to go it on your own, trying to really be logical and think about, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I make more money? That's you swimming upstream. If you just surrender and just go downstream, just go with the flow, you're going to end up at your destination much faster than you could if you did it by yourself, by swimming upstream. All right? So for you guys, pile number 1, it's all about surrender.
All right, so for those of you who chose pile number 2, this is your message. Okay, so we start out with money versus love, followed by chaos and conflict, followed by weight. All right. So for you guys, I feel like you guys are feeling internally conflicted. I want you to take a good look at this card, right? Sorry for the glare. If you look at it, it's a zebra, but it's almost covered in giraffe skin or giraffe print. And if you notice in the middle, that giraffe print is sort of coming off and exposing the real zebra skin. Some of you are internally conflicted because you're not being your authentic self. There's something that you're trying to, I'm not saying hide or cover up in a like deceitful way, but I feel like some of you are just scared or reluctant to show your authentic self, right? And I feel like it has to do with something about sensitivity. Some of you are a lot more sensitive than you want to let on. Pisces is very much a sensitive sign, and some people equate it to be sort of soft and emotional and overly sensitive, and that's very far from the truth. Sensitivity is being able to understand humanity, right? Knowing that it's not just you. Being able to take other people's feelings into account. So sensitivity is not a bad thing. But I feel like some of you are not comfortable with being as sensitive as you are. So it's almost like you put on this front in a sense, right? Like if you notice, a zebra is like the size of a horse, right? but a giraffe is sort of larger than life. It's super tall. It's much bigger than a zebra. And I feel like some of you feel like your sensitivity makes you small. Remember how I was talking about in the message portion of this video about the vastness of the world and you sort of feeling small. So some of you are feeling that way. And therefore you're not being your authentic self. Especially as it relates to other people. Like you want to put up a front for other people. That's sort of its own separate message. Like for some reason, these cards are not interrelated. It's almost like there's three separate messages here. So then we've got money versus love. So there's a change in circumstances for some of you. And you are being called to make a choice. And some of you are having a problem making that choice. Money versus love. Yeah, some of you are torn between following your heart and doing what you're obligated to do or doing what makes sense, like dollars and cents. As corny as that was, sorry. Yeah, some of you, like your sensitive nature is obviously telling you to follow your heart and go with what you love. But your other side is like, but what I love, is that really going to pay me? And am I going to be able to support myself? Like it's this very head versus heart kind of conflict that you have within yourself. And Spirit is telling you to wait. I feel like there's more information that's going to be shown to you. So before you make a decision, regardless, wait. Some of you are going to receive a message that's going to help you decide, make a decision. Others of you, there's a communication coming from someone who's going to give you clarity so that you can make a decision. All right, let's get into these tarot cards. First one is Queen of Swords, and this goes into this Wait card. She doesn't have her sword drawn. So she's sort of just sitting and contemplating. So again, you're being, and take this message as it resonates. I know it may sound like all over the place, right? And that's sort of how it feels, to be honest. This isn't just a straight shot message. It just feels like it pertains to different people in different ways. But some of you are very much being guided to wait. So maybe the first part of this message doesn't resonate with you, but if you are torn between two things, if you're trying to make a decision, don't make it just yet. Wait, really think about it. And then we have the Fool. The Fool card is all about faith, taking a leap of faith, and surrender. And then we have the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands speaks of a happy home, cohabitating with someone, a joyous occasion. If you see these two women, they're like dancing, what looks like at a festival or something like that. Sometimes like a cause for celebration. Yeah, I feel like if you were to make a decision now with respect to whatever it is that you're contemplating or whatever choices you have to choose between, I feel like if you were to make a decision, I don't think that you'd make the right one. I don't think that it would result in your happiness. I feel like you are being urged to really be your authentic self and to follow your heart, whatever this is. I feel like this can pertain to a lot of different things. You're being asked to follow your heart and to wait, because there's going to be more information that comes to you that's going to clear things up. Maybe so that you can follow your heart. So I feel like if you follow the path of money, although the money will be good, I don't think that you're going to be fulfilled. And I feel like you're going to be back at square one. So for you, if you picked pile number 2, your message is to surrender, of course, like all of us need to do this month. But wait and really think about what it is that makes you happy. Because I feel like if you do that, whatever decision you make thereafter, I really think is going to bring you happiness and emotional fulfillment. right, and last but not least, if you picked pile number 3, this is the message for you. We start out with wild card. Okay, interesting. It's a number 5, so something is changing, but I feel like you don't know which way it's gonna go. It could go any way. So there's a situation in your life, a situation you may be involved in or with, that's changing in a very unexpected sort of way. I feel like you can't call it, whether it's going to go this way or that way, whether it's going to end up at a certain whatever. There's just a very unexpected element to something. Then we have peace. Interesting. Okay. What number is this? 23. Oh, this is 23. This is also a 5. So regardless, this change I feel like is meant to bring about peace, but I don't feel like it's going to start out that way. I feel like this is going to be the end result, but the way things are starting is kind of erratic. It's kind of surprising. It's kind of, there's an element of the unknown. Yeah. And then we have, oh, this is a beautiful message. There's no need to worry. This is beautiful. So even though things are changing in a very unexpected way and you can't call it, I feel like it's going to end very peacefully. This could be some sort of conflict. We've got the dove here. So maybe there is an argument. There could be a conflict, you know, something along those lines. I feel like it's going to end peacefully, that there's going to be a peaceful resolution. And there's no need to worry. This is so reassuring. The feeling I'm getting right now is like there is this sense of relief and peace that literally just washed all over me. And that's how you're going to feel at the end of whatever it is that you're dealing with right now or during Pisces season. There's going to be a peaceful resolution. All right, let's get to the tarot. We've got the Magician. So someone is at work here. I don't know if it's you. I don't know if it's spirit, but someone is manifesting this situation to be the way that it is. I don't know why I'm getting this, but I have to say it. Like I see someone doing like maybe some sort of spell work. I'm also getting for someone, this has to do with like a legal situation. And I see someone doing like spell work, whether it's candle magic or whatever, in order to have a peaceful resolution. And I feel like that if that's what you're doing, I feel like it's actually it's going to work out in your favor. But someone is at work manipulating the situation, but not in a bad way. I don't see there being manipulation against someone's will. I feel like this is someone just trying to sweeten up a situation or make a situation more peaceful, make communication between two people or a group of people more peaceful. Like you get where I'm going with this. All right. Ooh. Yeah, then we've got the 3 of Cups. This is about togetherness. This is about community. This is like, yeah, this is people coming together. So I'm definitely seeing that people were apart. I'm seeing a group of people and their backs are turned to each other. This could be a friend group. This could be whatever. But there could have been like strife, fighting, he said, she said kind of a thing. Communication was all kind of crazy. But again, this is going to end peacefully. And I feel like everyone's going to come back together. Whereas someone may have turned their back on you or vice versa, or there's strife among a group of people. I feel like ultimately everyone's going to come back together. For some of you, this could be with family. If you've had a rift in your family and you've got family quarreling, I feel like when everything is said and done, I feel like this is going to be how everything ends. Oh, and then we have the Ace of Pentacles. Wow, pile number 3, you guys have a very positive message. This coming together is going to plant seeds of something new and abundant. It's almost like you're at the you're gonna be, it's like a cycle has ended and now you're at this new beginning. You're at the beginning stages of a complete turnaround. For some of you, this definitely has to do with family. I'm seeing that this is growing into a family tree. I'm hearing for some, it has to do with a pregnancy. Someone is pregnant. Ugh, like with, you know, the fish, when you dream of fish, it's pregnancy, and being that Pisces is the fish. For group number 3, someone is pregnant. You may be pregnant. There may be fighting around someone who's pregnant, particularly with this egg right here. So for a lot of you, this may be a family situation. But it's gonna end well. Like, I see perhaps the birth of a new child is really what's going to bring peace. So if you had a family situation where people are quarreling, that there's unrest perhaps, I feel like even if the situation, even if the quarreling has to do with the actual pregnancy, I feel like once the baby gets here, everyone's just going to be peaceful. People are going to bury the hatchet. People are going to put their differences aside and just nurture this new seed that has grown, right? That has this new baby that has arrived. For those of you where that situation doesn't apply, I just feel like whatever situation may have been going on that was stressful, that was you didn't know how it was going to turn out, there's changes going on, and that's very unknown, I feel like it's going to end well. And that's so indicative of Pisces energy. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It's really about endings, but endings that foster a new beginning, because you start the cycle right over again. And it's making peace with everything that has transpired from Aries on into Pisces, and then you start again. And that's the energy that you guys embody. So if you guys, again, picked pile 3, there's no need to worry. Everything is going to turn out peacefully, and a new beginning, a beautiful, peaceful new beginning is on the horizon. All right, so that has been the Pisces season channeled message and tarot reading, or whatever you want to call it. I sincerely hope that you guys were able to get at least one important message from this reading, and that at least something resonated with you. The whole point of this is to give you some insight or confirmation or reassurance that whatever you're going through, whatever you're experiencing, or whatever is going to come up, like, you're prepared for it, and you can kind of anticipate it and understand it in a better way. And so I sincerely hope that I was able to do all of those things for you with this reading. Speaking of readings, if you would like to book a personal reading with me or order an astrology report, those links are in the description box below, so don't forget to check those out. And while you're checking things out, don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Divine Feminine Works. I've got a whole bunch of great content, a whole bunch of astrology, tarot, and spirituality content, so check me out over there, and don't forget to follow. As always, everything I do is a labor of love and comes straight and sincerely from the bottom of my heart. If you feel so inclined and would like to tip me by buying me a coffee, and tips are always greatly appreciated, I will leave that link in the description box as well. My loves, happy Pisces season. I wish you the best for this new season. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you next time.